On the afternoon of May 22nd, the tornado hit.
Came through physically and ripped roofs off and toppled trees and destroyed houses. There are a lot of buildings, 6,000 buildings in this tornado strip. 3,800 of them were affected by the storm.
The impact of that event caused a great deal of damage to the neighborhood, to a neighborhood that already was distressed, that already had sort of an economic storm of its own that it's been dealing with for many years.
The very next day, the Minneapolis Foundation and our partners, the Greater Twin Cities United Way and Give Minnesota, gathered together to establish the Minnesota Helps Fund, specifically focused on the tornado recovery. I would say well over 20 different foundations have contributed to the fund, and then countless individuals. At last count, I remember seeing something like over 4,000 different individual donations through GiveMN. In the initial days after the tornado, the focus is really on that immediate response, making sure that people had food and clothing and shelter, and a lot of the grants that were made out of the fund went to support that effort. All of the grants through the Minnesota Helps Fund have gone directly to nonprofit organizations. So, for example, there's a group called Urban Homeworks that really has been out on the ground, doing a lot of the tarping of buildings, doing a lot of the debris pickup, and engaging both staff and volunteers.
The Minnesota Helps Fund helped Urban Homeworks in a significant way because 2 days after the storm hit, rain hit the forecast. Minnesota Helps came together and said, we're gonna contribute $50,000 to that patch repair, tarping, and electrical mast restoration. We tarped 42 roofs that were uninsured or underinsured within a very short amount of time. We converged then with Emerge, and we kind of created a little bit of a super crew.
Emerge had, in the immediate aftermath of the tornado, had actually built a youth employment built on our experience in providing neighborhood beautification projects. We put Northside young people, many of whom were directly impacted by the storm on May 22nd, to work in doing neighborhood cleanup. They were able to do debris cleanup, to do tear downs, to support work that was going on, to mow lawns for elders who needed their lawn mowing, really to help people get back to normal. We were able, with resources coming from the Helps Fund, to actually build that model and grow it to where throughout the summer we were actually supported with an overall funding package of $400,000 to help employ 170 neighborhood youth.
What Minnesota Helps did at the early stage was they were there, they were present. They made an early investment that eliminated and mitigated a lot of damage that could have taken place. We hope that what we've been able to demonstrate with the Minnesota Helps Fund, Northside Recovery Fund, has really demonstrated how important this model is. We've been able to start and sustain something utilizing these funds that will have a great impact in the future. The overall impact of what Minnesota Helps did with their support to Urban Homeworks, and I think to the Northside Community Response Team, is it empowered groups and people that live, work, worship, play in the community to respond to their neighbors' needs and to some of their own needs, and to build on the trust that they have with their own, with our own community, with our own place, and then to weave that trust together more tightly so that now we have a stronger group of relationships.
I think that whenever we can work in partnership with community, with those that are most affected, allows us to really have the greatest impact. And I think in this case, we've been able to do that.